Samsung is about to do something with the Fold lineup we have not seen before, a true Ultra version that might finally justify spending close to $2,000 on a folding phone, or make that investment look reckless if you buy at the wrong time. Right now, the smartest rumor for pricing is between $1,899 and $1,999 in the US, depending on storage, which puts it in direct competition with premium flagships like the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the Galaxy S22 Ultra, plus Google's next Pixel Fold. So the real question is not, is the Z Fold 8 Ultra cool? It is this a smart $2,000 decision? Or are you better off holding your cash for one more year? Here is what is changing and why it matters. The Fold 8 Ultra is expected to shrink the overall body with thinner bezels and a wider aspect ratio on the outer display, while keeping a tablet-sized inner screen. That means you get more usable width on the cover screen, less remote control feel, and fewer apps squished into odd layouts. For people coming from a normal phone like a Galaxy S22 Ultra or iPhone 13 Pro, this finally looks like a foldable that does not feel like a compromise the moment you close it. But that is not the biggest change. The inner display is rumored to hit higher brightness and improved durability, with a less visible crease and stronger ultra-thin glass. If you have been holding off because of that plastic, slightly flimsy feel on earlier folds, this is exactly the kind of long-term build quality upgrade that affects real ownership value over 3 to 4 years. Under the hood, expect a next-gen Snapdragon flagship chip, likely the Snapdragon 8 Elite or a custom Samsung variant, paired with at least 12 gigabytes and potentially 16 gigabytes of RAM on the Ultra. On paper, that is a 15 to 20% CPU jump and up to 25 to 30% GPU improvement over the Fold 6. In real-world terms, you're looking at video exports in apps like CapCut or Adobe Premiere Rush, finishing 20 to 30 seconds faster on a 5-minute 4K clip, and heavy multitasking across 3 apps, staying smooth much longer without stutters. So if you're coming from a Fold 3 or Fold 4, we're talking about roughly double the AI and graphics performance, and a very real productivity upgrade. But here's where things get very interesting for your buying decision. Samsung is lining this Ultra up as a true tablet replacement, not just a fancy phone that folds. That means bigger battery, more efficient chip, and a lot of talk around 1.5 to 2 days of real use for normal users. If the battery lands around that rumored 4,800 to 5,000 milliamp hours mark, combined with a new chip, you could see 15 to 20% better screen on time than the Fold 6. In daily life, that is the difference between hitting 10% at 8 p.m. versus still having 25 to 30% in the tank. For travelers, that is a big shift in long-term convenience and reduces your battery anxiety cost. Now, how does this stack against the competition you are probably also considering? On the Apple side, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will almost certainly still win on camera consistency and battery optimization, and it should come at around $1,199 to $1,399, depending on storage. So you're potentially paying $500 to $600 more to step into the foldable world. Against Google, the next Pixel Fold or Pixel 10 Pro Fold is likely to undercut Samsung a bit, maybe closer to $1,499 to $1,699. What you pay extra for on Samsung is ecosystem advantage, better folding hardware, and significantly more polished multitasking. But there is one thing most buyers comparing specs are missing. Samsung is betting hard on on-device AI. The Ultra branding here is not just about the camera. It is about AI-assisted workflows, live transcription, instant language translation across calls and messages, AI summaries of long documents, generative photo editing, and possibly desktop-style window layouts that adapt automatically. This is not just convenience. Think about a consultant or freelancer who joins calls in different time zones. Auto-summarized notes, translated subtitles, and searchable transcripts are a direct time saver. Over a 2-year period, that can easily be worth more than the price difference between this and a normal flagship, if you actually use those tools. But AI can also be a trap if it is just a marketing term. So here is the key. The Fold 8 Ultra only becomes a smart investment if Samsung commits to at least 4 years of meaningful AI feature updates, not just security patches. That is what turns a $1.900 purchase into a long-term value play instead of a 2-year toy. Let us talk cameras, because this is where Ultra usually makes or breaks the price. Leaks point to a main sensor closer to the Galaxy S22 Ultra level, with upgraded optics and improved low-light performance, plus a higher-end telephoto, not the basic 3x setup we saw on earlier folds. If that holds, you can expect 20 to 30% better detail retention at night, cleaner 4K video with less noise, and more stable zoom up to 5x without falling apart. For creators, that means you could finally shoot talking head content, B-roll, and vertical shorts on just this one device, using the inner screen as a massive viewfinder. Compare that to something like a Google Pixel Fold, which has strong stills, but often trails Samsung in video quality and consistency. If your workflow is TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels, Samsung's color science and stabilization still give it the edge. But that is not the part that surprised us the most. The Fold 8 Ultra is expected to lean heavily into S Pen and desktop-style usage. Imagine running a full spreadsheet, Slack, and a browser at the same time on the inner display, then dropping into DeX mode on an external monitor and using it like a laptop. If you're a professional who lives inside email, docs, and project tools, this can actually replace a small tablet and even a light laptop for many tasks. That has a huge impact on total cost of ownership. Instead of buying a $1,200 phone plus a $600 tablet, you spend around $1,900 on one device that does both. Broken down over 3 years, that is roughly $53 a month for your main work and entertainment machine. For many professionals and creators, that math suddenly looks like a smart investment instead of a luxury splurge. But before you mentally swipe your card, we need to talk about trade-offs. Folding phones still have more moving parts, more complexity, and usually worse long-term durability than a slab phone like the iPhone 16 Pro, the Google Pixel 9 Pro, or even Samsung's own S22 Ultra. If you tend to keep your phones for 4 or 5 years, this matters. Hinges wear, screen protectors need replacing, and repair costs are often higher. So the long-term value equation depends heavily on how long you plan to keep it and how careful you are. Gamers also need to pay attention here. Yes, the new Snapdragon Plus better cooling should deliver strong gaming performance. You can expect popular titles like Genshin Impact, Call of Duty, and PUBG to run at 60 frames per second on high settings for longer sessions than on older folds, with fewer thermal throttling drops. However, the wider body and inner display mean you're holding more weight during long sessions, and not all games are optimized for squarish tablet screens. If gaming is your main priority, a traditional flagship like the Asus ROG phone, a Galaxy S22 Ultra, or even an iPhone 16 Pro Max might deliver better comfort and stability for less money. But if you split your time between gaming, work, and content creation, the Fold 8 Ultra gives you a unique hybrid experience that no slab phone can match. Now, let us hit price and timing head-on. If the starting price lands around $1,899 for 256 gigabytes, with 512 gigabytes around $2,099, you have to compare that directly against $1,999 iPhone 16 Pro Max, a roughly $1,299 to $1,399 Galaxy S22 Ultra, and a likely $1,699 Pixel Fold class device. That means you're paying $200 to $700 more upfront. The smart way to evaluate this is over a 3-year window. If the Fold 8 Ultra replaces your phone and tablet and gives you real productivity gains through multitasking and AI, that extra $15 to $20 per month can make sense. If you mostly just scroll social media, watch YouTube, and take photos for fun, you're paying extra for potential you will never really use. Most buyers are completely missing this detail. The real risk is not that the Fold 8 Ultra will be bad. The risk is that for many people, the upgrade value versus a normal flagship just is not there. If you would never open the big screen to manage 2 or 3 apps side by side, you're paying for hardware that stays folded 90% of the time. So let us answer the questions everyone is actually asking. Should you buy at launch? If you are on a Fold 3 or older, and you actually use multitasking and big screen features every day, this is likely the generational leap you have been waiting for. Better cameras, brighter, and tougher display, longer battery life, and a much faster chip. You will feel the difference every single day. For you, buying at launch is a reasonable investment, especially if you can get a strong trade-in deal from Samsung or a carrier. If you're on a Fold 4 or Fold 5, the answer is less clear. You will see improvements in camera, battery, brightness, and AI, but the question is whether that is worth what will likely be a $700 to $1,000 effective upgrade cost after trade-in. For many Fold 4 and 5 users, the smartest financial move is to wait one more generation, let the Ultra line mature, and then jump when there's a bigger leap in durability and AI features. What if you're on a standard phone like an S21 Ultra, S22 Ultra, iPhone 13 Pro, or Pixel 6 Pro? Here is where this gets interesting. If you feel your current phone is still fast, you're not running into storage problems, and your battery still gets you through the day, the Fold 8 Ultra is not a logical next step. Yet, you'll be taking on more complexity and higher replacement risk just to experiment with a new form factor. Unless you are deeply curious about foldables and have budgets set aside for premium tech, the smarter financial choice is to either upgrade to a more traditional flagship at a lower cost or hold for another year. Casual users who want a reliable phone that just works should skip the Fold 8 Ultra. You will get better simplicity, better one-hand use, and similar camera quality from an S25, S25 Plus, iPhone 16, or Pixel 9 for much less. Power users and productivity-heavy professionals who live in their phone all day, email, docs, spreadsheets, calls, notes, are the ones who benefit most. For you, the Fold 8 Ultra can be a true productivity upgrade and a smart long-term ownership move, especially if it replaces a tablet. Creators who shoot and edit on their phone will likely love this. The giant viewfinder, better cameras, and more powerful chip help you shoot, rough cut, caption, and upload all on one device. Here, paying $300 to $500 more than a typical flagship can pay off in time, saved in flexibility. Gamers should be cautious. Yes, the benchmarks will look great, but a dedicated gaming phone or a more affordable flagship plus a handheld like a Nintendo Switch or Steam Deck might be a better way to allocate your budget. Upgraders from 2, 3-year-old devices like the S21 Ultra, S22 Ultra, iPhone 13 Pro, or Pixel 6 Pro should think in terms of ecosystem and lifestyle. If you are ready to change how you use your phone, more multitasking, more content creation, more work on the go, the Fold 8 Ultra is a bold, premium upgrade and can be worth the price. If not, a normal flagship at $800 to $1,200 will give you a better balance of cost and long-term value. Upgraders from the current generation of slab flagships, like an S24 Ultra or iPhone 15 Pro, should almost never jump to the Fold 8 Ultra right now unless you specifically want to move into the foldable world. Your performance is already top tier. You are better off waiting to see how the Fold Ultra line matures. So here is the clear verdict. By now, if you're on an older Fold or a 3-year-old flagship, you love multitasking, and you actually plan to use the big screen for work and creation. For you, this is a premium, future-proof investment that can replace multiple devices. Wait if you're on a Fold 4 or newer flagship and your phone still feels fast. Let the second generation of Ultra folds arrive and let prices settle. Skip if you're a casual user, budget-conscious buyer, or someone who values simplicity and durability over experimentation. You will get better long-term value from a traditional flagship. And if you're on the fence between this and a non-folding flagship like the S25 Ultra or iPhone 16 Pro Max, that comparison changes everything. Before you make your final call, you need to see how the Fold 8 Ultra stacks up directly against those devices in cameras, battery, and AI features. That breakdown is coming next.